Welcome to Every Album Ever with Mike and Alex. My name is Michael Mansour, and I'm joined, as always, by my wearing a flannel because it's that time of year co-host Alexander Volz. Say hello.
Perfect Christmas time band.
Indeed. Wait. Actually, by the time this comes out, we'll be a little bit closer.
A little bit closer.
Not quite. It is a Christmas band. This is Every Album Ever. The podcast where we listen to every single album in the world, one artist at a time. That's a new discography, more or less, per episode. And today's discography is...
Fear. Your Lee is.
I've had lots of practice.
It's hard.
I've been listening to Fear since I was 13, probably 13, something like that.
I banked on that.
Yeah. I'm so familiar with Fear, but like, oh man, I've only heard out of all their albums two, because sorry to spoil it for you guys, but they're only known for one album, and this episode shouldn't even really exist. Honestly, this isn't like a really thorough discography with like a really deep band where we have to really dissect what went into each album. You got one dude who fucking landed on a gold mine and milked it for like 30, 40 years.
Still milking it.
And man, boy, do I hope Leaving never sees this, because he will fucking beat the shit out of me.
Will he?
Absolutely. The guy's very scary. But I mean, okay, we'll get more into it. But before we... So like, that's how excited I am to talk about anything remotely punk, because I just skip all the plugs. If you would like to support us, please subscribe on youtube.com/everyalbumever. Leave a 5-star, review, and then leave things on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and tell your friends and all that good stuff. If you want to check out the playlist on Fear that we've put together, check the description of wherever listening or watching. We have playlists associated with almost every episode. You can find them all at everyalbumever.com. Follow me on Instagram at Pope Joseph Ventura, and Alex
at Mother Puncture, to
stay up to date with all the little neat things that we do in our lives. I do Twitch stuff, I do music stuff, but mostly this stuff. And if you'd like to join the Patreon for bonus episodes, early access to certain episodes, general perks, other things, there's like more stuff coming for the Patreon members and all that. You can do that at patreon.com/everyalbumever.
Also, because we're getting climbing up. Maybe if people want to check out some of the older episodes,
please check out the older episodes.
Let's see if we could get those a little boost.
Honestly, like, some of them are fun. Like,
there's some gems in there.
There are. Body count. Episode 9 body count.
Yeah.
We didn't start adding video until episode 14, which was X. I recently got like a whole bunch of feedback on X because some guy on Reddit found it, and he was
Holy shit.
He sent me a thorough, like, very critical, but like not angry.
Okay, good. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Diehard fan of X that he just like here's what you miss. I'm like, holy shit, I'm learning. Oh my god.
Did this gentleman have a name?
I forgot. I'm sorry. Name? I'm sorry. Thank you. He actually has a podcast called I remember the podcast. I swear to God.
I guess next
Hooks and Runs. He's a baseball fan. He listens to baseball and talks about music, which is quite a combination. Very creative. I wish I didn't hate baseball. Otherwise, I'd be more inclined to listen more. But
it kind of makes sense. You got bands like the Melvins. Buzz very openly likes baseball.
That's right. I always appreciate just genre blending like that.
Yeah, just these like offbeat things. I've heard lots of people say, the Mets, like if you're a metalhead, like the Mets are the more metal team in New York.
Is it because it starts with MET?
No, it's because the Yankees are just fucking.
Oh yeah, they're like pop, like mainstream pop.
Yeah, and you can't have like facial hair and long hair on the Yankees. So
wait, like it's like a rule?
It's a rule. Whoa. Like they're living in like the 1920s.
That's weird.
Yeah,
that's super weird. What the hell were we talking? Yeah, old episodes. Yeah, so it's like some of the the best bands were before we started doing video. Like Beefheart's a big beef. It was our first massive episode. Yeah. Fucking Pantera, the Misfits.
I think our first beefy episode is the very first episode. We weren't as polished, but ELO is a huge discography.
It is the biggest discography that we've done in one of the shortest episodes that we've done. Cause
Yeah,
I was a fool.
We didn't know what we were doing. We weren't comfortable.
Yeah, I was insisting on making the episodes like an hour long each, even if the band had literally 14 albums like ELO did.
We might George Lucas that shit.
Go back to it. Like, yeah. But anyway, yeah, do that. Whatever. So fear. Do you have any history with fear?
I do not. I know I had friends that thought like the opening for I Love Living in the City was fucking hilarious.
Because it is.
Yeah, this is kind of like a joke song to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like, I feel like I should have though. Like, I think this is a more like metal friendly punk band.
Yeah.
Because I went from like metal to punk and it was a little rough for a little bit. I didn't really like understand like the punk, like the mean image because, and I've said this before, because the Ramones are a pop band.
Yeah.
They're a great pop band. Nothing wrong with it, but it wasn't mean. This is some mean shit.
It's really mean. Fear's super fucking mean, but also, man, they're like the early, because there's not really a prog punk subgenre, even though I think there should be. Like bands like all could definitely qualify as that. No Means No qualifies. Like
I would think
it's
like,
punk with prog.
Yeah, even like Black Flag and Minutemen
for sure. Black Flag, like they went past punk into this weird jazzy thing. I love it, but Fear, I think, is like the earliest example of what could be called prog punk.
You think so?
It's not like brainy, complicated, wacky fucking changes all over the place, but they'll choose a weird time signature and make it a punk song. It's like, how did you,
Interesting. I didn't catch that.
And even in one of the songs on the first album, there is time signature mixes. There's one guy doing one signature while their band is doing a different one. That's weird. You have to be really good to do that. It's not easy to do. And then you listen to the drumming and it's not punk drumming. It's this weird military machine gun sounding. It's like every member is just doing this wacky, crazy shit, but they're tight as shit.
Yeah. Which is pretty impressive considering how chaotic their live shows.
Yeah. Their live shows, as well as all their peers.
There's no reason for these punk bands to be great, but they are.
A lot of them
are. Yeah.
Not all of them. A lot of them are fucking awful.
A lot of punk bands we've covered are like impressive, really good. Yeah, musicians in general.
Minutemen, X, Minor Threat was a little bit on the simpler side, but they were still, good. So yeah, they're one of the first hardcore punk bands I think I got into, which is a really weird entry point. It's a good entry point, but it's not Minor Threat. It's not Damaged era Black Flag. It's really fucking wacky and really complicated. And
I almost wonder if, because they don't really have like a cool logo, like if they had a cool logo like the Dead Kennedys or Black Flag, if maybe, well, there were more people. Maybe that logo it's their entire shtick is just the stencil. Yeah.
Font. That's all their shtick is. And man, as much as we're going to gush about one album and then probably shit on the rest, like it's just weird. It's like One Trick Pony the band or One Trick Pony the guy, because it's Lee Ving's whole deal.
A little bit, and we've talked about that before. If you're going to do that, it can work for a band like Slayer, but
I don't know why it works for Slayer though. Episode 30, we did cover Slayer,
but I'm glad that one was an hour long. But I would say 3 to 4 albums is appropriate for Fear.
Okay.
Anymore,
I still feel like it's too much. But coming from a guy who really, really like holds this stuff dear to his heart. But okay, backstory, yada yada yada. What you got?
You probably more informed than I am, but they were formed in 1977 by Lee Ving and Durf Scratch.
Durf fucking Scratch, man. That guy's so underrated.
Yeah, I didn't write down any members because they the turnover is so high.
The important members are leaving: Derf Scratch, Philo Kramer, and Spit Sticks. Those are the guys. That's fear.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they were covered in Decline of Western Civilization, and the filmmaker, she was married to the president of Slash Records,
Penelope Spheres.
Yes, and so
also the director of Wayne's World.
Yes, and I assume the Decline of Western Civilization 2
and 3.
And 3.
I
didn't even know there was a 3.
Oh, it sucks. I saw parts of the third one. So the first one is obviously the fucking greatest thing ever. Second one, I finally saw it, by the way. The last time we talked about it, I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, the second one, I remember people talking about, I forget what shitty band he's in, the dude in the swimming pool with the vodka.
I forgot, but it is depressing.
Yeah.
Dude, that second one it's like watching a train wreck. It's fucking really interesting, but I hate everybody in it. I hate everyone. Dude, Paul Stanley?
Yeah.
Have you seen the clips of...
Oh, this with the women? Yeah.
It's not just that he's in bed with a bunch of women being interviewed. He is.
Yeah.
It's that he's in bed with women being interviewed with the camera shooting from the ceiling. It's shooting downward at him on bed. It's like,
that's right.
What the fuck is wrong with you, you psycho?
I haven't watched them in a while, but I will say, like, the first one, like, those are like iconic punk bands that still matter today.
Yeah.
Where the second one was just pure
garbage.
Like probably one of the worst times for metal music.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
And also, which a funny thing about the second one, if I'm remembering correctly, by the end of the movie, they mentioned that all the bands like that they're covering, like, oh yeah, they broke up and it's like you couldn't even make it to the release of the movie to stay together. Like, Jesus Christ. Not that the first one was much better, but like a lot of those bands, like Black Flag and X went on, and Fear, obviously. Actually, almost all the big bands in the first one went on to stay together for a long time. The third one was about like the newer punk scene, like the early 90s, which was it was a different thing. And the parts I saw, I didn't care much for, but
it should have really been about like hip hop music. Technically,
that would have been perfect.
That was the natural progression of things, but whatever. Yeah, that's all I really have, and then pretty much it's out to the races.
So
from there,
since we already mentioned Decline, like Derf Scratch is one of the funniest great showmen like of the punk scene, because he's just defined exactly what it was to be an asshole punk in a band. Like he would just taunt the audience and just like,
oh yeah, I read about that. Yeah, they were jerks.
They were big ol' assholes, but it was funny. It was super funny because it's like, it's not like crowds today where everyone's paying like usually an absurd amount of money, especially in LA, absurd amount of money to go see this band, and then you're just getting abused by the band. It's not that. It wasn't that. It was everyone there was violent and an asshole getting treated like shit by someone else who was it's just funny to watch. There was like in Decline, Derf was telling street jokes on stage. And one of the ones that he told that was like, I'll never forget, was why do girls have their little holes so close together?
Why?
So you can carry them around like a 6-pack of beer. And I laughed and laughed. I'm like, oh my God, that's fucking hilarious. Street joke. It's total like that. Yeah. And that dude was really interesting. And then I didn't learn until much later, years later, how important he was to the band. Obviously, he helped form it. He was like, I don't know. He was like you noticed his absence as soon as he was gone, which we'll get more into, obviously. But might as well start jumping into all the albums. Fear had 5 albums, or has 5 albums. They're still together. They're no one's touring now, but they were. Despite the last record being released in 2012, the first one was released in 1982. I don't feel like they're going to release anything new for a long time, if ever.
And they shouldn't.
They fucking shouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm getting heated already. But if you're ready, might as well jump into it.
I am ready.
This is 1982's The Record. This is about as jumping into the deep end as it gets with the beginning of an album.
Yeah, it's the I don't even know what to call those vocals. Like
it's the Blues Brothers on cocaine. More cocaine. The Blues Brothers on extra cocaine.
Which is why Belushi liked them.
Sure did.
Yeah.
God damn, I love this.
It's almost like Muppets.
Yeah. Those guitars too. They're so wiggly and almost silly sounding.
Also, I always thought they were like a New York band, but they're from LA.
They're LA as fuck. But I understand why you think that. So, I love this. So let's say the obvious.
Best personal favorite.
Obviously, best personal favorite. This is obvious. We know this going in. We practically fucking told you at the beginning of the episode. This album is one of the best hardcore punk albums I think you could find. Period.
It's real good.
It's wild.
Almost every song is memorable. There's great. I saw someone called it a great snapshot of like the 80s.
How so?
Like 80s punk scene.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
I guess I'll kind of save why later, but yeah, like that's a pretty standard punk song, but then after you have like Beef Below. Baby. It's just like blues scatting. It's hilarious.
It's fucking hilarious. Put on the beginning of Beef Baloney because this is track 2.
Like I wasn't ready for that.
My baby, so talk about low down skakadoo.
Okay, so before we put on the whole fucking intro, he does that for a while, and then it goes into like a really solid punk song.
Yeah. What if he pulled a Jerry only and went like full like bluesy later on? That would suck. Or maybe it'd be funny.
He sure tries to later on, but so let's go back to a second ago when you said you thought they're from New York. They exude New Yorkness. Everything about this band,
the attitude, yes.
Even the way Leaving talks and sings sounds like a New York Italian. Mm-hmm. Everything about them. The whole band is just so fucking New York. But they are so not New York. For instance, the song New York's All Right for like saxophones, which is it's a fucking classic.
Which was interesting to me because I was like, oh, this East Coast, West Coast shit isn't just in hip hop. Punk music too.
It's also with comedy. It's everything.
Oh yeah.
It's everything.
I never thought about it in that terms before, but I guess thinking about it with hindsight, yeah, some of the punk bands from the West Coast are just harder.
The thing is with East Coast,
I guess
also
the more popular ones.
I don't know. Well, yeah, maybe because East Coast had the Boston scene, which I've talked about in the past, which was don't say it.
None of those. I mean, like none of those bands were like. I guess the most obvious one being like the Ramones,
right.
Or even
that was a different scene though. Yeah. The Ramones were before the hardcore punk scene, but I mean like in Boston. They had all those Boston bands and they released a compilation called This Is Boston, Not LA.
Yeah.
Which is the most self-explanatory name for a compilation ever. And it's a really good comp. And at the very end of it, to close out the compilation are a few songs by a band called The Freeze. And they wrote the song He's gonna sneeze.
Oh, fake sneeze.
Damn, that was a killer buildup though.
Sorry.
They wrote the song "This Is Boston, Not LA," and at the very end of it, they're like screaming "This is Boston, LA," and the very last line is "This is Boston, fuck LA." It's like
fuck Boston.
There it is. Yeah, fun way to squeeze it in. But yeah, New York's all right. Good song, hilarious, saxophones.
Also, yeah, kudos to like that is a cool fucking saxophone.
Oh yeah, put it on just to give it an example. That's also Durf on saxophone.
Like even if it wasn't like kind of satire and parody, like it would fucking work.
Mm-hmm. Also, I'm sure this is also one of the most famous songs. I think this is the first song I ever heard from Pierre.
Yeah, there's like some.
It's just dicking around, but it works.
It works.
Yeah. That song is so fucking fun.
Yeah, there's occasionally like some shades of Dead Kennedys too, and I don't know if that has to do with this. You know, they probably rubbed elbows and
100%.
all of that.
I think one thing that really reminds me of Dead Kennedys is Philo Kramer's guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, great style. It's so he uses that whammy bar until it sounds like it's gonna break off. That's how much he uses that whammy bar, and it really reminds me of like an East Bay Ray style where it's just really unorthodox, strange thing thrown on top of punk.
Yeah,
it's a very interesting layer.
Outside of things like Beef Bologna and New York's All Right, I would say like the most surprising riff to me was
Camarillo?
Yeah.
Dude,
like,
so good.
I wasn't expecting a song like that on this album. No.
It's right there at the beginning of the album too. It's like that song. I remember when I first heard that shit, man. It was like there's a whole new world here. It's so weird. And fucking the drums on there. Spit Sticks on this album is just incredible. Mm-hmm. He does this because everything's produced so tight, so close together. So his drums sound very small. They sound super tiny. It doesn't even sound like he's using toms. He is, but it's like that's how it's produced. It's so small. So with songs like that, he starts doing this almost like blasting, like a slow blasting. Fuck it, put it on because there's no way. It's hard to explain how it sounds like a machine gun.
I'm just gonna play the whole album.
I know.
Yeah, it's only a minute.
Yeah, it's a very short song.
I would say slow blasting is again.
Yeah. Listen to the drums here.
Super tight.
So crazy.
Yeah.
God damn, that's so impressive. Plus, not to mention that guitar line. It's just this weird Egyptian thing.
Yeah, metal bands will do, but hearing it on a punk album is...
That's why I'm saying this is like so proggy in terms of punk. Like, it's just very exciting. Very exciting.
And then I guess I wrote that it was like jazz punk, but maybe it fits into the prog, the Get in the Brush.
Get in the brush.
Yeah, that would...
I called my baby, but she never... Sorry.
That would fit like on one of the like weirder Black Flag albums.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's Durf's song. We keep talking about Durf. I think that's the weakest song on here. It's just like an experimental kind of dicking around fest.
Yeah, I think the most like surprising depth to me was... having never listened and like study the lyrics is a song like I Don't Care About You, which just seems angsty at first, but then I saw there was a interview with Lee and he described it as like a social realism where you adapt to these horrible things. Like he said he saw like a double amputee homeless person asking for change. And he's like, we just ignore it. Like, what are we supposed to fucking do? As
we both lived in LA for many, I was like, my whole life. You've lived here for pretty basically your whole life.
If you've seen homeless people, it's fucking horrible, and we've just learned to
deal with it
or like write it off because you can't
do shit.
You can't do anything.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like
surprisingly poignant.
I wasn't expecting that, and then. Obviously, after listening to that and then listening to I Love Living in the City, that's also like satire. And
those are great lyrics too. They're honestly funny and well written and kind of like they're grotesque, but in a way that's just, it's just fun. It's fucking.
They were kind of like the Mad Magazine of punk bands.
Yeah.
Is that an ice cream truck I hear?
It is an ice cream truck. I don't think it's picking up on the mic, but I'm just trying to I'm just thinking of, I actually do legitimately enjoy all the lyrics on this album. They're actually funny. This whole album is actually really funny. And to go back to I Don't Care About You a little bit, the drums on there, again, fucking crazy. More of that machine gun, really tight style that Spit does. But I remember reading an interview with him years ago with Spit Sticks saying that the drums on "I Don't Care About You" and "Fresh Flesh." Matt's hard,
It's hard to say. Yeah.
The drumming on both those songs were actually drumming exercises that he used.
Oh,
so he just
that kind of makes sense.
So if, like put on "Fresh Flesh," "Fresh Flesh." I gotta say it slow. It kind of sounds like it would be a drum exercise.
Because, I remember doing drum exercises where you start off slow, and then when you get some speed, you start figuring out where you can work them into songs. They start sounding more
natural.
Yeah, more music, like instead of these strict.
Yeah. 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5. Yeah.
Like paradiddles are a great example of that.
I have to dwell on this drums for I'm trying not to dwell on it for so long, but it's just the most impressive thing to me on here, because that bass drum is so fast and it's always going. It's like always going.
I was the track I wrote for like standout drumming is "We Destroy the Family." Also, the guitar playing and drumming on that is just,
that song I think is the most impressive from a technical standpoint song on the album. The drumming is so fucking crazy. It's like the most percussive sounding. You kind of don't know what he's hitting. It sounds like he's hitting everything. And then my favorite thing about that song is that's the song where Philo is playing the solo in a different time signature.
Oh shit!
That solo is, first of all, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
but I forget which time signature the solo is. But if you listen to the main riff, let's see. Oh wait. Is that 9? It might be 9/8. I'm trying to figure out the math in my head. So basically, the song is in a really odd time signature. The guitar solo is in like a 4/4, and it's written in a way so that they end at the same time and they can come back in on the next one. It's like really hard shit to do. That's prog. That's prog as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's also lyrically one of the most ridiculous, over the top, steal the money from your mother, buy a gun.
These lyrics are much like the joke he told.
Yeah.
Where it's in your face for being like in your face. But on this record, it strikes a chord. They happen to be really good musicians, and it's one of those things where it comes together well.
Another instance of insanity, Disconnected.
Yes, that is this noisy, angry punk music. There's no way.
Disconnected falls apart every chorus. Like the chorus, there's no riff. It's just everyone stops playing their instruments and they just start dicking around for the entirety of the chorus, and then they go back into it. And then the chorus comes back and they all fall apart all over again, and everyone's just screaming, making a bunch of noise. I don't know why I enjoy it so much, but it's just so fucking great. And then the last main thing every song is great, but like,
I do think covering an Animals song.
That's what I'm about to get to.
Yeah, real interesting.
So they cover "We Gotta Get Out of This Place," and I think it's one of the best covers ever made.
Also,
it's brilliant.
Also, if you didn't know it was a cover, the lyrics and stuff just fit on this album for whatever reason.
They do not seem like it's actually weirder to me that the Animals wrote those lyrics. It's like that's surprisingly punk.
Well, now I can listen to 60s bands and kind of pick up on some of the punk.
Yeah, where I came from, the proto-ness of it.
Yeah.
That is my shining example of how to do a cover, because they took the general idea of the song, changed every note, kept the lyrics, but just made it a Fear song. And it's the most twisted, sick, fucking hooky, strange, angry, pissed off. It's wonderful.
And then what a beautiful song to end the record on. Fuck Christmas.
That is a bonus track. It was a single. Fuck Christmas it's supposed to end with No More Nothing, which is a total.
Yeah.
It's a good closer. Fuck Christmas, I think, is pretty weak. It's ridiculous.
I like it.
The vocals are hilarious.
Yeah.
You got to put it on because the vocals are so funny in the first half.
I'm throwing it on my Christmas playlist for sure. Sounds like John Carpenter music at first.
Just because it's Christmas. Children there.
It's so 80s.
At Christmas.
Yeah, I like it.
All the children on the street.
That's like 40 seconds too. Like,
We're just gonna play the whole song.
yeah.
I mean, the climax is better.
It's not so great.
Yeah, would be hardcore punk if I didn't just go full speed at the very end.
Although if it didn't, I'd still
neat.
respect it.
Yeah, it's neat. Yeah, I believe that was a single. I don't know if it came out before. I think it came out after the record. I'm not sure though.
Either way, it's a cool addition to the album.
This along with like Los Angeles by X and Damage by Black Flag and Group Sex by Circle Jerks, like these are like the prime examples of thinking about it now, all LA. They're all LA. But just prime examples of like what made the hardcore scene so fucking interesting is because it wasn't just every band playing full speed. It's just they all did this thing. They all had this personality. Like this, no record sounds like this. I've never heard a record that sounds anything like this.
I don't
Find one. I dare you. Please and show me.
Yeah, this exactly. But like I said, I could hear like the Dead Kennedys in there. I could hear, I guess a little bit of the Stooges.
But everyone got stuff from the Stooges.
Sure. But
It's just such an interesting rivet on the LA punk scene because also Lee Ving, as much as like we're gonna probably shit on him for the rest of this episode, he's got a cool vocal style. It's like no one sang like him.
For sure.
It's just weird, pissed off New Yorker bluesy Italian guy. Like no one did that.
I have some nice things left to say, so he's gonna beat you up, not me.
Okay,
he
fine.
might beat me up too.
Maybe. Please don't. So yeah, obviously this is a classic. You gotta hear this. If you have any passing interest in punk, this is a must.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
But now we are on to the second album. A little bit of a gap here. This is 1985's More Beer.
We're not recording right now, are we?
Yeah.
Little Minor Thready.
Yeah, a little generic. And then it gets real bluesy again.
Yeah, this almost feels more hard rock than punk.
Yeah,
even though this cover is very punk.
It is. I had a patch of this on my back in high school.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Oh man, little nice little sexist intro to the album.
Which isn't like surprising if you paid attention to their previous lyrics.
Also, it's a punk band. Like you can expect it to be PC from a punk band. Like it's a whole gag. So that's basically the song.
Also, it was the 80s. And yeah, to the surprise of no one, that song is on I forget what GTA.
Is it?
I mean, like, that's a perfect song for Grand Theft Auto.
Mm-hmm.
This fits into the style of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. I heard that I had this. I actually own this album somewhere. It's within my collection, which I'm surprised because usually the follow up, it's like, why would you? It's like wild, Circle Jerks is Wild in the Streets. Like it's not a bad album, but compared to the fucking brilliance of the, in that case, Group Sex, and then this one, the record.
Yeah.
Like it's fine.
The production seems a little
weird,
especially on the drums.
Oh, it's so 80s, man. It's like that fucking reverb on that snare.
Yeah,
it's fucking hilarious, man.
Very interesting.
The drums and the drums and vocals are both louder than everything else and have the most reverb. Mm-hmm. It's weird.
Also, I read, depending on who you ask, this either took 4 days to record or a year.
That's helpful.
Yeah, I'll believe the year one because of the gap between albums. A year, and that's like the weirdest like punk move ever to take this long to follow up.
Yeah, 85. By 85, the hardcore punk scene was mostly dead or dying pretty quickly. So it's like weird. It is weird to release a follow up, and also Durf isn't here anymore. Founding member Durf. What a stupid fucking name. Durf Scratch. I don't know what his real name is. He's gone.
Durf Scratch now.
He's Durf Scratch. He's not here anymore, but it sounds like a different band.
It does.
Like the thing that broke my heart the most about this album is my favorite things about Fear are Philo and Spit. And the two wildest members, and they've been neutered like a motherfucker here. They don't do anything interesting.
I think there's some interesting things on here.
I think there are two interesting things on here.
So I like Hey.
Hey's cool.
That's like a little interlude. It's very short. I'm just gonna play that song.
Play the whole thing. It's fucking great, and it's super short.
That guitar is so low in the mix. It's all bass.
Yeah. Also, you don't need lyrics. It's just
don't. Yeah. That's great. That's metal as fuck.
Maybe that's why I like it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Great.
There we go.
Yeah, great song.
Good song. Don't listen to the rest of it. No, kidding. Because I'm a Doctor is the best.
I was going to say that.
It's so good.
That's when I got some prog vibes. The percussion on there.
That song gives me goosebumps. It's so weird that I'm like so lukewarm on this album. And then that song comes on. It is as strong as anything off the record.
It's like King Crimson inspired guitar riffs.
Yeah.
That's what the album should have been based around.
100%. You got to put on as a little.
He seems to have this obsession with beer that will not.
Oh, we'll get into it.
Yeah, this is this prog rock.
Even though.
Yeah. Is that some Tube and Thurp singing?
I'm a doctor. I know what you need.
This is fucking great.
A pelvic sort of examination. There'll be no pain. No pain. No pain.
Yeah. Maybe looking good. Maybe not for punks.
No.
But I hate to sound like a broken record, but yeah, if you liked like that weird Black Flag stuff, like that song is for you. Yeah,
that's the best song on the album for me anyway.
I think Have a Beer with Fear is fun.
It's
fun.
Not terrible. Yeah. It's like it's not, man, it's just, it reminds me of like what the album is. That song to me is what the album. It's like, oh, it's not the same band. They're a lot more generic. The writing is way weaker. And they feel neutered. They feel neutered and kind of like samey. They feel like they're peers rather than this weird, crazy thing that they once were.
I will say, Welcome to Dust Ward is probably more interesting than it is a good song.
Yeah.
Because it goes back and forth between like psychedelic stuff and punk stuff, and it does it pretty seamlessly. It doesn't seem forced, but I don't know if it's a great song.
I don't enjoy it, but I get what you're saying. Waiting for the Meat, which is the closer, but it's like the fast part is so good.
Yeah.
And then and then that's like 2.5 to 3 minutes of just mocking
like beatnik poetry stuff over bongos.
Drums. It's like a joke song, but it's like you had a great riff there, and then you did it for like 20 seconds, and then you just ruined the song by adding all this crap to it. It's just fucking mind-boggling.
I do kind of dig what they did musically on Null Detector. Right before that, I think it's a nice little 1-2 punch of weirdness with Null Detector and Waiting for Meat. Very vulgar. which they do.
They do,
but
indeed.
they are stretching some creative muscles there.
There's some interesting stuff. I don't think it lands for the most part, but the stuff that does land, it's just like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. And Bomb the Russians, I think that's pretty fucking cool too. It just sounds songs like that where you think like, oh, it's just more generic hardcore, and then a weird thing like that, it's just thrown. It's less than a minute, and it's like, oh fuck yeah, more of this weird palate cleansing stuff. The last thing I'll mention, Responsibility. Lee's vocals on Responsibility make me laugh so much. Oh my god, it's so 80s. It's so 80s, dude.
They almost sound like
Is he fucking Meatloaf?
yeah. This is, I think, of like 1950s.
Really?
Not the 80s.
I think of Meatloaf.
Yeah.
You're right. The chord changes are definitely 50s rock and roll.
Yeah, that's the Belushi influence in there.
Yeah, so we skipped over like the greatest trivia.
Oh, the SNL.
Because that was way before this.
Yeah. I think that was before the first album.
Yeah. So we got to talk about that. SNL and Mr. John Belushi. John Belushi was a fucking big Fear fan somehow. And this is before the record came out. So it's like he was like just in tune with the hardcore scene somehow. I mean, he was always on coke, but it's probably not that surprising. But huge Fear fan. He pulled his strings on SNL to get them to do a performance. It was a fucking disaster.
Yep.
It's a complete disaster. I saw the footage a lot as a teenager, but I remember it disappeared off the internet for a long time. I don't know if it's back because NBC is like,
it's so weird. It's so like iconic and well known. Like, why not just embrace it?
You have to embrace it. It's a piece of American history at this point. Like,
probably make like, I don't know what YouTube hits do for TV shows and networks, but a couple $1,000 if they just like on the SNL YouTube page.
No, they would think it would do more than that.
Yeah.
Like people YouTubers blow fucking TV out of the water.
Oh yeah. It's a changing landscape.
It would be really smart. So if you can find the footage, track it down. It's great. But I've mentioned this also in a previous episode a long time ago. They go into, I think Beef Bologna is the first song they go into, and Lee Ving plays rhythm guitar in the band, and he starts the song, and then within seconds, punks are jumping on stage and knocking over stuff. And yeah, within seconds, they knock over the mic stand enough times where he's like, fuck it. And he just takes off the guitar and then has to grab the mic and sing. Cause like, I mentioned before in the hardcore scene, a singer was a full-time job. Like you couldn't have a mic stand up there. No one would allow that.
Yeah.
And I think, bits that I've read that there was like, they were obviously taunting the crowd because that's what they do. They were saying, it's great to be in New Jersey, which is very funny.
Yes, it is.
And everyone, I think, like Ian MacKaye was there.
Yep.
I think Tesco V from the Meatmen was there. Like a bunch of like people and bands that I liked were there. They caused like 20 grand worth of damages or something like that. And they didn't let them finish the whole performance. They cut to commercial. And then they never aired it ever again. No reruns. None.
Getting a little sidetracked here. Do you think it's like a Lorne Michaels thing? He seems like the Vince McMahon of comedy to me.
Very much the Vince McMahon of comedy. Yeah, he's
he like holds weird grudges and
strange guy. He has the air of like the old guy in the mansion on the hill. Everyone's afraid of him, kind of thing.
Yeah, everyone's afraid of him. He's kind of a gatekeeper, but he 100%. shouldn't be.
Yeah, he's 100% a gatekeeper. Like people who work with him, they speak like nicely of him, and like they say like, no, he's just like a mentor type guy,
like a tough exterior.
Yeah, he's not really like a crazy dude, but I don't trust anybody that deeply embedded in show business. That dude diddles for sure.
Damn, that's a bold.
I take it back. I'm sorry.
That's a bold claim with no evidence. I wasn't gonna go there. I just meant like asshole.
Hey, I don't fucking know, dude. You don't know that he doesn't? Sorry, it probably doesn't. I don't fucking know. put the clip back on YouTube, and I'll take it back.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fucking crazy to have Fear of all bands on SNL. Like, what?
More John Belushi's that
Seriously, yeah.
further proof that as my friend Dylan likes to say, the wrong Belushi died.
The wrong Belushi definitely. That's so mean. Dude, Jim Belushi was a sweet guy.
That'd be great if he was like a fan and he's like listening. I thought they liked According to Jim.
I watched According to Jim. I didn't like it. No, another friend of ours met Jim Belushi and he said he was the sweetest man he's ever met in his life. I bet he's great.
Wrong Belushi still died.
God damn it. Back to this fucking album. It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah. There's interesting tidbits there. Hardly like offensive or offensive.
It's offensive, but it's not
in the sense to your eardrums. But
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah,
I had a good time. Goodish time.
It's a goodish. It's a fine time. It's a fine time. It's not the record, but it's fine. Now we're on to there's a
1995 for some reason.
Kind of a little bit of a gap. I saw a 10-year gap here. This is 1995's Have Another Beer with Fear.
Do you think he just likes how it rhymes with fear? So
I think the man is not creative at all.
No. Those are like Jello Biafra vocals.
Yeah, real. Also, we didn't mention the title track on the last album. That song's cool. It's fucking hilarious.
It's like the first punk sounding.
Also, that breakdown where he's like, "Wave in the morning."
Also, this is probably like the funniest talking about a song
from the last album.
Well, another song is fucking.
That's how fucking boring this is.
It's a real boring record, guys.
Okay, yeah, it's not a good record. Shocker.
It's my worst.
Shut the fuck up.
I will.
Holy shit! Really?
This, like, to me, because the next album is like there's a huge asterisk, which I don't want to like spoil. But I guess if you're familiar with Fear, so I gave this worse because like the next album is stupid.
Yeah.
But it's like it's not bad.
Well, we got two more.
Yeah.
So I'm also okay, I'm surprised. Okay. So this one is not good, as you're saying. But it's
also I didn't do this on purpose, but I have to continue the trend of the third one.
Oh,
the third album
being your least favorite.
Yeah. It doesn't have the energy and the danger that the other two.
That's interesting because I noted that this one had way more energy than the last album. The last album felt fucking deprived.
This one feels way flatter to me for whatever reason.
So this album sounds to me just like every other 90s punk record. It has that same poppy style to it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, they never sounded like this before. It sounds like they're writing to sound like the peers of this era specifically. Mm-hmm. So this, I felt honestly, probably gonna shit on for this, more enjoyable than almost all of the 90s albums. The band all those fucking 90s albums. Like, yeah, I'll listen to this any day over that because those ones were just boring, horrible pop punk to me. I'm gonna agree with you on that. And even though I gave it worst album, I'm still gonna agree with you. It felt energetic. Lee still has that really interesting voice, even though it's not really doing anything interesting musically. Much like you, I think I only like 2 songs on here. Which ones? I believe I'll have another beer, but even that one, I like it. It's fun. It's like the previous beer song. It's fun. It's not. So, okay. I think now is the time to talk about Lee Ving's obsession with beer. It's not healthy. No. And the dude has sclerosis. Oh, for sure. No, I don't know. Okay. But no, actually, Durf Scratch died from sclerosis. Holy shit. Sclerosis. Yeah. And it's not like he's the first musician who's an alcoholic. We've covered plenty of them. But when it's
on the forefront of like 3 out of your 5 or 2. Sorry. 2 album or wait. No, 3 albums with beer in the title. And it's just less Animal House, more jock rock vibe. And even though Animal House is about a fucking sorority, but like the way it ages.
Right.
I said fraternity. I don't know. My brain's a mess right now.
What's the difference? I guess the genders, but
yes.
So the obsession with beer is it's like, I don't know why it feels so fucking annoying to me. It's like every other song is about beer. Hey, have this beer with fear. Hey, want to have a beer with fear? Hey guys, we're fear. We like a beer. We're not even
That's
done.
Exhausting.
We're not even fucking
we're
done,
not.
dude. We got more. We got 2 more albums of this shit. And it started on the last one, which was already like, okay, this is the beer album. The first one was the crazy, wacky, kill everyone album. Second one's the beer album. Hold on, the third one's the beer album. I bet the fourth one's the beer album too. It's like, and this is also important note, the Leaving show entirety.
Oh yeah.
Replaced all the members. No members are the same now. And now it's a whole completely different band.
The other good song on here, Fuck You, Let's Rodeo. I'm gonna play a bit.
Do it.
That's the only other song I like on here.
Fuck you, let's rodeo.
It's just a straightforward punk song, but I like it.
Wait, where am I? I'm losing my notes.
I know, I could tell.
God damn, because I'm trying to Google and like do a bunch of stuff at the same time. Awful.
You gotta have those tabs open.
I know.
Although you also record on there and switch album covers, so
yeah, there's a
lot going on.
I'm trying to stay focused.
While you're looking up your notes.
Yes. Okay. No. I found what I was going.
Okay.
So one thing that's interesting about this album and the next one, this one, the track listing that you're going to find on this isn't that big a deal. But it's the track listing.
Previous one, I think.
The previous one, I think, had a consistent track listing.
No, it's
really.
I think it's a little wonky, or like Strangulation is supposed to be in there, but it's tacked on at the end. It's not as wonky. Yeah, it's not as wonky, but yeah, pretty much there's different track listings from what's streaming over the original releases.
Yeah, so it's not just streaming; it's like the re-releases. So yeah, I didn't realize that with More Beer. This one too, as well as the next one. Everything on streaming is a certain way, and if you look in Wikipedia, it is way different. It is way different. I think that the 2000 re-release of this one changed all the songs.
Or even on Genius with the website for lyrics, the track listing is also different.
Is it the streaming version or the original?
It's the original.
That's so confusing. Yeah. I think when they re-released them all on CD, I think they changed all the track listing, which
interesting.
And that thing bothers me personally. Like I fucking hate when you mess with the track listing because it's such a big part of the flow of a record.
Mm-hmm.
But with like albums like these where I kind of don't like any of the songs and they all sound the same.
Not a big deal.
I question if it would actually make a big difference to me.
This one, no. And then you back into Battle again, the main course. I'm like, oh, there's little bit of Devo. I can imagine like Devo.
Really? I don't mind that song. I think it's not bad.
Yeah. And then Honor and Obey doesn't work like their other satire songs.
That one is just that's the most sexist with the least bit of jokiness to it. Like it's not clever or anything.
Yeah, but I'm going to assume that based on their track record and also there's hints that it's satire, not how he feels, hopefully.
he seems like as much as he seems like a douchebag, he also seems like he's like like a normal dude. Like he's not a psycho. Like he's probably a psycho to work with. I bet he's like horrible to work with, but like
he's not like
lyrical things. I don't think he's like a bad dude.
He's not like Perry Farrell.
Oh, Perry Farrell, Jane's Addiction. But this is honestly a lot better than I was expecting. I was expecting horse shit. I was expecting awful, boring. But it was just like, oh, this is just 90s punk, which isn't my bag, but still. What's the other one I don't mind? Mean Potatoes. I don't mind that one either.
That's not. Everything was this kind of like looking at the track listing. You're like, oh, like public hangings, legalized drugs, chaos. Those will be like fun, iconic Fear songs. But they're this kind of there.
Public hanging, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, they're this kind of there in the background, like you said. If you didn't know it was Fear, you wouldn't be like, who is this band?
Absolutely not. Public hangings. It sounds like the new drummer is trying to channel some Spit Sticks, like machine gun style stuff. It's okay. It's fine. But it just overall, the song isn't even great.
Also, Spit Sticks, great name for a drummer.
It's great. It's a great name.
It's clever.
Yeah. I think he even played with Dick Dale later on in life.
Oh, that would make sense.
I think he was a surf rock guy, honestly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Very, very similar to I gushed about X's drummer, but I can't think of his.
DJ Bonebreak.
Yeah, very similar to him.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So one thing that leaving, we keep saying he's a one-trick pony. He has three things. Okay,
Beer.
Coasting off of the record, and 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, back to back. He does it so much on here. He's been doing it on every record. He does it on every single record.
And then the kind of like satire lyrics.
Yeah. They get they'll never be as hilarious as they were on the first album, but
or as clever as Jello.
Oh no, yeah, Jello's the whole different breed. And to go back to one of his tropes, the song Free Beer is a total knockoff of the song More Beer from the last album.
I didn't even notice.
The fucking rhythm of everything. Like, it's like he used the song More Beer as a template to write Free Beer. I just don't fucking understand.
All the beer. And then
I still think it's one of the better songs, even having said that, though, on this album.
Beer Fight.
I hate it. The song Beer Fight. There's so much beer. I don't even like beer.
It's obnoxious.
I felt overall, I felt it to be very inoffensive musically, pretty average, no highlights, but also no severe lowlights. Just sort of like, all right, it's just not pop punk, but this is a 90s punk album.
To me, it falls into the category of sometimes I feel like being boring is the most offensive thing you can do. And that's what they did. It's fucking boring.
It sure is. Yeah. Yeah, don't. Like, I don't even know what to compare it if you like something then to listen to this. But
except maybe fuck rodeo, but don't nothing else.
Ugh, let's stop. Let's move on.
On to the next one.
This is 2000's American Beer.
God damn it.
God damn it.
God damn it. This is a very confusing song lyrically.
He's sounding so much older.
I love older.
I know you like old man voices, but it sounds so fucking weird.
It suits the band, but they never channeled old man voice into like interesting music.
No. I don't know who's thoroughly enjoying this, so let's talk.
Okay, I got my notes earlier. I don't hate this record.
You don't.
I think this is an improvement.
You think this is an improvement?
Not by much, but it's an improvement. But that song is confusing. if you like look or listen to the lyrics, like, is he a Christian Scientist? Is he talking about plastic surgery? I don't know what's going on there. It's really fucking weird.
I don't know.
It's
man.
really weird.
This album sucks, man. Fuck, this one damn near broke me.
Did it?
I hated this. It's so fucking bland, man.
See, that's how I felt about
the last one.
Yeah.
I don't know why this one felt worse to me. Maybe it's the production. Maybe it's the fact that
official. Huh? Is that an official accurate?
It is not. It just sucks to me.
Okay.
And this was hard because I do hate this. But
it wasn't hard for me.
Really?
Yeah. It was very obvious what was getting what.
Man, this man, I don't know if it's the production is notably worse than the last one. Very much worse. I don't know if it's Lee. It's like making me sad that he sounds so old and he's still doing this fucking beer bullshit.
That is depressing, but I will say the older he gets, like it suits him. Like getting that haggard. It fits it fits the band. It works for me, but like I said, this never really channeled it into interesting songs.
It just makes me feel more and more like he had so little to do with why the first album was so good.
Yeah.
Like, as each record comes out, it's like, this is getting significantly worse. And the only consistent member is him. Starting to think that maybe Durf Scratch contributed a fucking lot, considering he was only on the first album. Starting to think that the more Spit Sticks and Philo were given freedom, the cooler everything, the cooler everything sounded. That's a stupid sentence. The better everything sounded. Yeah.
The cooler.
Yeah. It just seems like the more control he has, the more generic and unimpressive and fucking boring it gets.
Lost in Los Angeles. Not an amazing riff. I think it's a cool riff. And those are like the most haggard.
Dude, put it on because the 80s-ness of that song made me laugh so much.
This
could be like a Red Hot Chili Peppers song.
Sounds like it should be in Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, it does not sound like a 2000.
And honestly, it sounds like a
fucking garage demo. Like it's weird production.
A little bit.
What else is there to say?
I think 33rd and 3rd. They try to capture some of the silliness of Beef Bologna. However, they do not.
Honestly, I think the intro and the little jazzy intro in the middle section, I think that's actually pretty bitchin'.
Yeah.
It's the rest of the song that I don't think is bitchin'. That one and what is it called? I can't even fucking read it. Catfight.
Yeah, they're very disjointed.
Yeah,
but like on purpose.
Yeah, I think Catfight's probably the most interesting song on here, beginning to end. And those are the only two things I couldn't bear it. I couldn't bear it.
My favorite song on here is Christmas Beer, which is why I'm like they're a good Christmas band because I think that's the best song on here.
They've already had.
They just combined two things they've covered into one song.
What did I say about that? I swear I wrote something about that. Yeah. Another Christmas Beer. Yeah. It combines. I'm so angry when I wrote this. I could tell how angry I was.
Did you write it in all caps?
A lot of things
with two fingers.
I did write, on the last album, I wrote in all caps, "We get it, dude. You like beer." I did write that. But on this one, for that song, I wrote, that song combines yet another two already done themes. Leaving fucking sucks. So that's my note for Another Christmas Beer.
It does. Okay, another like a weird fucking song, and it's like years too late. What if God's not one of us? Just feels like it's kind of in response to the song "What If God."
What if God was one of? Yeah, that's
what year did that?
1940.
1940. Mrs. Joan Osborne. That came out like 95, and like 5 years later, he's like, "What if he wasn't one of us?"
What is he fucking Beavis and Butthead? Like that is the most. Also, I hate it. I fucking hate the song. Like Oh, this one. Oh man. I couldn't fathom.
How do you,
I couldn't pull a bullshit reason out of my ass for anyone to listen to this album.
how do you feel about Hard Salami? It's kind of like
Hard Kato Salami is a piece of trash.
that's like, hey, we're jokey. Here's songs about wieners.
It is. It's just another knockoff of Beef Bologna. It's a knockoff of his. He just knocks off his own songs.
There's harmonica in there.
There is. I did appreciate that. I did appreciate the harmonica for sure. But the way I don't just mean because it's called Hard Kato Salami and the other one's Beef Bologna. I mean the rhythm of him screaming in the chorus is the same as Beef Bologna. He's like, again, it sounds like he's modeling the songs after songs he already wrote. It's what I'm confused by. Like, does he just suck, or is he like doing it on purpose?
In the with hindsight and listening to all their albums, I would say both. It's very obvious he was trying to tell us what he was going to do next.
God damn it!
But
I wish I was missing something, but these are just. It just seems like a cash grab. Like all of these things seem like he didn't. Because I also read a thing that like these songs were written in the 80s or like written way before 2000.
I saw that on the wiki, but there wasn't a footnote for it. So I just
some of the songs I think were written by old members. Maybe that's where. I'm assuming it was just something like lying around and he just pieced it into a new song.
Not the good members.
No, yeah, the good members. I actually
interesting,
but man, I'm just getting bummed out the more I talk about this. But I feel bad too because I'm really shitting on them, and I really like that record.
Whatever,
so much.
You gave it its due diligence.
Goddamn right. So let's move on from this piece of shit. I was so dead set on this being worst. I was so dead set. Like, this fucking blows. This is the worst. And then we have one more. We have one more, everybody. This is 2012's The Fear record.
God damn it.
I love living in the city.
I really love how haggard his vocals are, but it doesn't excuse this album one bit.
This is one of the most inexcusable albums that we've covered on this podcast.
Yes.
If you're wondering what you're hearing, this is a song they've already done.
Yes, the whole record. They George Lucas themselves. They said our stuff isn't good enough. Let's make a special edition, if you will. A newer hope.
So, yeah, worst, least favorite.
Although for a little bit, I was like, well, it's not worse because these songs are still good.
The songs are still good.
Because of almost the same fucking songs.
It's the same album as the record. It's the record. So
it's different track listing.
It's different track listing up until Disconnected. And then it's the same.
I didn't even fucking notice.
It even seems like the fucking the change of changing the track listing was like half-assed. So, okay. Oh, God. This is not the only instance of this type of thing, though. So,
oh no, I remember that was a thing.
It was a thing for a minute.
But they would do like one song and then call it like the 20 whatever version.
Kind of, a little bit. So this is just like we're saying, it's just the record re-recorded with an entirely different band. I should also add that the transition from Have Another Beer with Fear to American Beer, basically an entire different band. Like,
yes.
He just switches members like fucking God knows what. Often is what I'm trying to say. And here is, yet another different band re-recording of the record. Suicidal Tendencies did this with their first album, which is widely considered their best album, which is a fucking amazing album. They re-recorded it as Old Men for why? And then TSOL did it.
Holy shit.
I don't know if it was the entire first EP, but it was like a bunch of songs. obviously these guys did it. I can't imagine that it's anything but a fucking cash grab. People like the record. They didn't like anything that came after the record. Hey, let's re-record the record.
There's no reason to do it. And it's just like out of place too. In like 2012.
Yeah.
Like I said before, that was a great record for the 80s.
Yeah.
In 2012, it's just like, okay, like
it's like the songs are still good. And like the reason why, I was going to give it just least favorite and give American Beer Wars because American Beer, I think, is just atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
And like I had such a fucking personal vendetta against the recording of this. Like, why'd you fucking do this? But then I'm thinking like, if you were to come in not having heard the original and to just hear it like this with this shittily performed old man singing.
Which I'm for, but not like re-recording the club.
Objectively worse track listing. The order is way fucked. It's way less interesting than the original in terms of like album flow, and all the charm of the recording of the original. So, for example, where am I? This version of "I Don't Care About You" is miserable. I mentioned that Spit Sticks use like a drum exercise on that. So if you listen to the verse on the original "I Don't Care About You," it's really snappy, it's really tight, it's really almost quiet. It's just you hear this fucking drum, this bass drum and snare going like lightning speed, doing this thing, and then it goes into the chorus and it gets big and loud. Here, it's all just big and loud.
Yeah.
And it takes away any of that nuance, any of that kind of cadence that the original had. So just the performing of it is already worse. It takes away why the original was so good. They ruined the solo to "We Destroy the Family." The thing that I was gushing about, how Philo played a different type signature on top of it, it's gone. Yeah. Now it's just jerk off dicking around and doing his own fucking thing. It's like everything that I loved about the original is missing here. The songs are still fine, but they're not great. The way they were.
You can't capture lightning in a bottle.
Can't.
Especially retreading the same waters you've been in before. Actually did something a little unprecedented for this podcast when I realized what was going on. I listened to the first one and I listened to this one immediately back to back to try to
compare.
Yes. And yeah, it does not hit as hard. It's not like you said, all these little details that made the other album great are just gone. It's just everything cranked up to 10.
Yep.
It's just it sounds funny to say this about Fear songs. It's the stupid version.
It's the stupid version. It's so funny because songs like "Getting the Brush," which once again, we're going to talk about Durf. That's a Durf song. Durf sang on that. Now Lee is old manning all over that song. Yeah. The original version sucked. And this version is like, God, oh my God.
He needs like a, like how Josh Homme worked with Iggy Pop and said, let me help you record some modern rock music. He needs someone like that, and the dudes from AFI are not it.
Oh wait, is that who he worked with?
That's who is like in the band.
Really? I did not know that.
AFI bassist Jeff Craigs. He has a weird last name. Spelled Kresge.
Craig. I'm going to say Craig.
Craigs. Yeah, just fucking weird, uncalled for. I want to know who bought this fucking album.
Yeah.
Or imagine you're like a kid and you ask for like a Fear album.
It does seem like a kid.
And your parents fucked up and got you this one.
Dude, it seems like one of those like old school video games where they would have like this misleading cover art, or like they had the Street Fighter game that was called like the Street Fighter, but it had nothing to do with Capcom or like actual Street Fighter. It was like some adventure shitty game. Yeah. Like it's like that. It feels like a bait and switch. Even the cover, it's like it's eerily similar. It's like they're not really hiding that it's just They're
I could also even like understand it if like maybe he had like a falling out with whoever owned the rights to the original, and then so it was just kind of an excuse to like. I could even understand that, but that's not the fucking case here. It's just.
I think it's just money, man. I think he just needed to put out a record and give some to tour for. I have no idea, honestly, because it couldn't have made that much money, honestly. I know you don't mind the old man in his voice, but I swear I can hear his fucking mouth on "Give Me Some Action." Like you hear every little particle of saliva on there. It's like, oh my god, he's so old.
I think if there's some modern punk people who would want to work with him for whatever reason, I think there's which arguably he probably doesn't want to do. Or like he doesn't want to be told what to do.
I would bet some money on that.
But on the off chance he did, I think someone could get an interesting record out of him, performance-wise, not writing.
I think performance-wise also. He's always had a very fucking cool voice. Like as much as I rip on his Blues Brothers-iness of everything, it's interesting for punk. And also, like with the whole working with him thing, like
let me backtrack a little bit. How I said if he had like beef with the label, maybe I could understand this. You know who put this out? Slash Records. Still,
they're still around.
Fucking record label.
Holy shit! Oh god. Wait. So okay.
Oh wait. Oh no! Sorry.
Not,
no,
okay.
it's not.
Because like,
some label called the N. Never mind.
All right,
I got it mixed up. Sorry.
I don't think they're still around. Slash, they can't be still around. Are they still around?
Probably not.
No. Well, maybe.
No. They went under 2000.
Yeah, they got bought out. Yeah. So looking at the absurd amount of lineup changes that this band has gone through, I can only imagine that leaving is a nightmare to work with, and it's like. It almost seems obvious based on his like public persona and his whole stage thing, or he's just a big old dickhead. Like, I obviously it's a lot of that's an act, but you look at lineup changes like this, you can't hide that. He's got to be a nightmare.
Although Wikipedia does list that Philo and Spitz
they're back with him.
Yeah,
it's like a full reunion. I don't know who the current bass player is.
The AFI guy.
Oh, that's the AFI guy. Okay. So yeah, they were touring before all the COVID nonsense. But I don't know how long that was. I wonder how long they've been playing with him. Either way, old man, I'm sure they put,
2018.
Okay, so it wasn't that long. Yeah, I'm sure they swept stuff under the rug. I'm sure they're fine. But I still stand by that he was probably not fun to work with.
Maybe not. But really, I wonder if, like, who wants to see them play anything not off the first?
There's no way. Aside from the song More Beer, which is fun, and I'm a Doctor.
Yeah.
Essentially a couple songs from the second album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think they do. Because like
no one does, yeah.
There's a lot of bands, punk bands who went on to do other stuff, and it was just such a fucking letdown. Like one that I loved that growing up was a band called 7 Seconds. And when
I've dabbled.
Yeah, when they went indie or whatever the fuck it was that they went, it was bad. It was rough. And they were actually the first show I ever went to when I was like 12. And I wasn't even aware of their worst material at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to the show and it was like it didn't even exist. It was all the great songs. It was beginning to end, every song I loved. They didn't even acknowledge that they had bad songs.
I remember Metallica's new stuff is whatever, but when they toured on Death Magnetic, it was like, they're older, but it's like, yeah, they're just playing dope songs.
Yeah.
Like the album is just an excuse to tour.
I remember seeing the set list when that album came out. I was like, this is really good. That's a really good set list. Holy God.
It was great. And also one of the few big concerts I've got like floor seats for it.
Oh, that must have been intense.
It was actually not as intense because it was at I believe it's called the Citizens Bank Arena in Ontario, California, not Canada. It's way smaller than Staples Center. If you live in the Southern California area and a band is playing, like a big band is playing in Ontario, fucking do it. Like, it's
that good, huh?
So, like, it's still a big arena, but it's noticeably smaller. And also, that's when Metallica had the coffin stage in the middle. So it helped disrupt all the stupid pushing and shit that happens when you go to a hard rock show.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Also, the Sword and Lamb of God opened up. That's great lineup.
Quite a lineup. God damn. So let's recap.
Best personal favorite, The Record. Worst, Have Another Beer with Fear. Least favorite, The Fear Record.
And best personal favorite, of course, The Record. And worst, least favorite, The Fear Record. Nice and succinct. Best album is the same album as the worst album. What a beautiful bookend to this fucking band.
How many podcasts can I go with debut record, best personal favorite, third album, worst?
That's interesting. It's been a lot. Yeah.
Especially lately.
Yeah. But thank you so much for listening and watching. If you want to help us and support us, subscribe on youtube.com/everyalbumever, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Man, I almost started choking right now. And of course, you can check out the Spotify playlist on Fear. You can find a link in the description of wherever you're listening or watching, as well as playlists associated with every episode at everyalbumever.com. Follow me on Instagram at Pope Jesse Ventura and Alex
at Mother Puncture.
And, emails. You want to email us, send any thoughts, suggestions, all that stuff. Everyalbumever@gmail.com. Oh man, I'm getting phlegmy. Patreon, man. I'm fading all this vitriol that I was spewing.
I thought I was going to be a tired boy today, but you feel way more tired.
I had 6 slices of pizza. Oh, very fucking
nice. Also nice.
Yeah. Patreon, if you want to join the Patreon, patreon.com/everyalbumever. There we got bonus episodes, early access to certain episodes, other perks for fans of the show. Do that or don't do that. It's all good. I think that's about it.
Yep.
So, final song.
That's all you, S.A.
Oh, I got it. I got it down. From obviously the first album. We got to get out of this place. It's the last thing that we ever do.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for listening and watching, everybody. See ya.